What's up guys, my name is Lex, this is poker vlog number 2. Today we're headed to Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. We're going to start off with some 2-5, and if the 5-10 game looks good, we'll hit up that as well. Alright, let's go. We finally made it to the Hard Rock. Took us about an hour because of the traffic, but we're here. Let's get into some action. We get seated here at 2-5. First hand is Queen 9 of clubs. We raise, get one caller. Flop comes Ace 5-6, 2 clubs. We bet 25 and he calls. Turns is 7 of clubs. We make a flush. We bet $75 and now he raises to 200. He has about $300 behind, so this is kind of a close spot. We could go all in for his last 300 or we could just call. We do end up just making the call. I don't want him to hero fold any 2 pairs here, and if he has a smaller flush, he'll bet the river. Looking back, I think just going all in here for his last 300 is the better play. We don't want an action-killing card to come, and if he has 2 pair, he's not going to be folding. The river card's a pretty bad card for us. It's the 10 of clubs. If he was bluffing with the king of clubs, he now got there. If he has a smaller flush, he's going to check back, and the same with 2 pair. He ends up checking back and showing 5-7 offsuit for a bottom 2 pair. We show our queen high flush, and we take down the pot. We sit down at 5-10, and our first hand we pick up pocket kings. We're not even ready yet. We don't have our camera set up or our chips. We raise and get 2 callers. Flop comes ace, queen 4, of course. We check, other 2 players check behind. The turn is a jack of hearts. We're just going to keep checking here, trying to get to showdown and see what happens on the river. The river is the 10 of spades. We actually make a straight. So we're going to try to get a little thin value here. We bet $55 into 105, and we get called by pocket 10s. All right, next hand, there's an under-the-gun limp. We raise queen-jack offsuit to 50 in middle position. The big blind calls and the limper calls, going 3 ways to a flop of 8-8-9, 2 spades. We have a gut shot straight draw and 2 overcards. They check to us. We're going to bet 50 into 155, and only the big blind calls. Going to the turn of a 4 of hearts. This doesn't really change much, and I figure that whatever he called with on the flop, he'll call again with on the turn. So we just check back, trying to realize our equity here. The river is a magical 10 of diamonds. We make a straight. He checks. We bet 125, and he pretty quickly calls. So we win another pot here with a straight. Right after this hand, a huge action player sits down. We're going to nickname him Big Blue. He loves to play hands, super aggressive, very fishy, great for the game. Cutoff opens to 35. We flat with ace-queen offsuit on the button, and Big Blue calls in the small blind. Flop comes king-jack 5, 2 hearts. We flop the nut flush draw, 1 over, and a gut shot straight draw. They check to us. We bet 55 into 115. Our buddy Big Blue calls, and the initial raiser calls. Going 3 ways to the turn. Turn card is the queen of spades. We now make a pair. It checks to us, and we're just going to check this one back. We have showdown value, and we're just going to evaluate on the river, maybe try to hit a straight or a flush. The river is a jack of diamonds. Big Blue checks. Initial raiser now bets 150. Doesn't really make much sense what he has. I consider hero calling, but betting into 2 people, this guy was playing fairly tight, so I end up letting my hand go, and now Big Blue check raises to $500. The initial raiser thinks for a while and ends up folding. Doesn't show any cards, but looks at Big Blue as if he was bluffing. And our buddy Big Blue shows 8-4 offsuit for 8 high with the 4 of hearts. So good job. Good bluff. Next hand we have ace-queen offsuit. Hijack opens to 35. We 3-bet in the cutoff to 110, and he makes a call. We're going heads up to the flop of queen 8 5 2 hearts. He leads into us here for 135. He can be leading here with some sets, some queens, and possibly some flush draws. So we're going to call 135 and evaluate on the turn. Turn card is the 7 of hearts. Pretty bad card. If he was leading with a flush draw, he now got there. If he has a set, he's beating us as well. We're only really beating king, queen, and queen, jack. He ends up betting $310, and we don't really have much of choice here. We just have to let this one go and move on to the next hand. All right, this is the biggest pot of the night. We have ace-king offsuit. Big blue straddles the 25 on the button. The big blind calls 25, and now middle position makes it 75. We 3-bet next to act to 225, and big blue snap calls. The rest of the field folds, and we end up going heads up. Before I see the flop, I make a quick prayer to the poker gods. Please give me an ace or a king so I can stack this whale. Somebody must have been listening because the board is perfect for us. It comes out ace, queen, 4. Perfect flop for our hand. We have top pair, top kicker. We want to bet here, but we're going to bet small. We want him to call with all of his pairs. We want him to call with his gut shots. And we also want him to call with his floats. So we bet $200 into 540. Just praying for a call and some action. We bet 200 and he thinks for a while and ends up making the call. A lot of the time these big action players will float on the flop to try to take it away on the turn when they're in position. They'll do big bets, big raises, big things like that. So depending on the turn, I may go into check call mode here. The turn is the 6 of hearts and I do end up checking. He thinks for a while and he ends up putting out a bet. He bets $325 into 940. So I could just jam all in here. I have about $1,500 left, but that would be a huge raise, and I think I have him close to drawing dead. There's not many draws on this board. There's not a flush draw, so there's not much to be scared of here. So I end up just check calling the 325, going heads up to the river. So this pot is pretty big. We got $1,600 in the pot going to the river. The river is the deuce of spades, perfect card for us. We check, and big blue checks behind and shows queen 9 offsuit. We show ace king for the win. I think we got max value here. I don't think he's going to call a big turn and river shove. So by checking the turn, we got him to value on himself, and we won a decent pot here. Picking up some pretty big hands here. We have aces. We raise to 35. We get 2 callers. The flop comes pretty dry. King, 9, deuce. Nothing too much to be scared about. We bet 55 into 110. Both players call. Turn pairs the deuce. Pretty great card. We bet 125, trying to get value from a king. They both end up folding. We pick up pocket 8s under the gun. We raise to 35. Big blue calls, small blind calls, and the big blind calls. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes jack, 7, 3, 2 diamonds. We check. Checks to big blue and he bets 80. The other 2 players fold, and we're just going to call here with our second pair. He can be betting flush draws. He can be betting 7s, 3s, straight draws. So we call the 80 and go to the turn. The turn is the 3 of clubs. We check and big blue insta checks back. The river is the 6 of hearts and we check again, and now big blue bets 250. This is a kind of a weird spot. We have to basically call here. He has all the missed flush draws, straight draws. So we end up calling, and he shows ace 3 offsuit for trips. So he got us good on this one. We pick up a premium here with ace queen suited. Middle position makes it 30. We 3-bet next to act to 110. Go heads up to the flop of king 9 6 2 hearts. We miss this flop pretty hard. He checks, we check back. Turn 5 of clubs. He's going to bet here, and we don't have much choice. We have to just let this one go. Last notable hand of the session, cutoff opens to 35. We flat with 7-8 of spades on the button, and big blue calls in the small blind. Flop comes king, 10, 5, 2 spades. We flop a flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. They check to us. We're going to start bluffing here. We bet 75 into 115, and Big Blue makes the call. The turn card is a pretty great card. It is the 4 of spades. We make a flush. Big Blue checks to us, and we're going to play this one a little slow and a little trappy. We check back, hoping he might blast off on the river. The river's a brick, and unfortunately he checks again. So now we're going to go for some value, try to get him to hero call us. We bet 150, and he thinks for a little bit of time, and he ends up making the call. We show our flush, and that is the winner. He ends up mucking. Unfortunately, that was the last hand we played with Big Blue. He ended up losing all of his money and had to go swimming back to the sea. Hopefully